So this at most disturbing things called on Dashcam footage as well. Very creepy intro.
This first dashcam video was captured in Australia. Two men in a Mercedes are driving down the highway when, through their rear dashcam, a car is seen quickly approaching. It then swerves around the two guys before getting in front of them and slamming on the brakes, clearly trying to run them off the road. But what first could be written off as road rage soon takes a more serious and disturbing turn. The two men notice the driver has an axe and is now waving it out his window and threatening
An axe? What the hell is he doing?
What are you doing? Oh, keep distance, bro.
Imagine he throws. Yeah, turning around. Yes, that's good, man. He's still following.
Unexpected encounter forces the two men to take a quick U-turn to lose the guy, but he continues to
It's
follow them.
insane.
The situation is then taken even further when the two use the next exit and approach a roundabout.
Whoa! Keep driving. Holy.
This is just throw the axe.
No. Oh, keep
No,
going.
probably
Oh
not.
my god.
He's just ramming him. She's
Two times the Mercedes is rear-ended, the second of which causes the attacker to spin out, sending him off the road. This allowed the two guys to get away. They
any
would then drive to
thoughts?
the nearest police station.
I guess
where
it's
they would
only
report what
one.
had just happened. When police arrived to the scene of the crash, the car was gone. However, a few hours later, they would find the vehicle on the road, and from there, the driver was arrested. Later, the owner of the dashcam footage would give the video more context. Apparently, the driver chasing them, for whatever reason, was 100% convinced they had robbed his house the night before.
Okay.
But obviously, this wasn't the case. The two guys had never before even seen the man. It was determined that he was under the influence of something. He would be charged with multiple offenses, which put him in prison for 2 years.
Deserve.
In August of 2018, Justin Bilton and his 70-year-old father were camping at Glacier National Park in Montana. They had only been in the park for 3 hours when they were informed of an immediate evacuation of the area. A forest fire ignited by lightning
It's a forest fire?
had gotten too far out of control. However, by the time they got the evacuation notice, unknown to them, the only road out of the park had already been engulfed by the fire.
Do I go? We're gonna find out up here in a minute, aren't we? I think we can drive through this. What? Dad, what if the car blows up? Dad, this is insane.
Okay. This death.
Easy. All right, we're good. Slow down. There's a big rut here. Just slow down. We're out of that fire. We're not out of that, Dad. We're not out.
He's only driving the car. This is kind of scary.
Easy. Can't see. Just go easy now. Easy. Dad, the car is heating up. It's gonna explode. Dad, what if a tree falls on us? Please, God, help us.
Okay, he's worrying too much. Remain calm in the situation.
I'm getting out. You can't drive back. We get that out of the road. We get gloves. Oh my God! Stop. Dad, we gotta get out of here.
A fallen tree is seen directly in the middle of the road, trapping them inside the park. They had nowhere to go but back, so they ended up reversing through everything they had just went through.
Oh, reverse
At their
again.
campsite, they abandoned their car and desperately started running towards a nearby lake.
Okay,
By
they
some
have to run, I
miracle, there
guess.
they would find 2 park employees in a boat on the shore of the lake. Justin and his father were rescued and taken to safety.
Saved by the
Everything
boat.
but this horrifying footage behind.
Okay, yes, somehow be a good ending.
This dashcam footage shows the armed robbery of a cab driver. The driver, Ralph Valletta, had just started his shift. This was his first ride of the day. He was stopped at a light, and the rider can be seen in the back slouched down. But abruptly, he sits up and demands Ralph give him everything he has.
This is a robbery, man.
All right, hey.
Give me all your money, man.
Man, I don't.
Give me everything you got. Give me it now.
All right.
Yeah, just land.
We can make this the easy way, or we can make this the hard way,
Give me everything
man.
I got, man.
Keep your hand where I can see him.
I just started.
What else you got?
I just
Let me see
started.
your wallet. Let me see your.
I don't have
Listen,
anything in my
we
wallet.
can do this the hard way, or we can do this the easy way, man. Let me see your wallet and let me see your phone. I need it all right now. If you don't want to die,
It's
man.
Okay. Okay.
Give it all to me now.
Okay. Okay.
Unbeknownst to the rider, a police cruiser was stopped at the same light directly behind them.
Okay.
At some point during the robbery, the light to the lane they were in had turned green, and seeing that they weren't moving, the officer put on his lights and got out to investigate.
Show them this tip.
I need your wallet.
No, please don't give me my phone. I need that for my. There's a cop behind us. There's a cop behind us.
This is so bad. Not even one guy behind. That's tightly back.
Almost immediately, the officer would realize that a robbery was taking place, so in response, he would order the rider out of the car, where he would then be detained. The rider was arrested and later charged with multiple offenses.
Yeah, the cop got promoted immediately.
In April of 2021, a man named Mitch Kuhn was driving on the highway back from work when he saw this. A child that looks to be wearing a large jacket, or that's possibly wrapped in a blanket, begins walking out in the middle of the highway, just barely missing Mitch's truck.
Hello?
Mitch was towing a trailer and felt that if he abruptly stopped, it would cause an accident. So instead, he opted to call the police, reporting an unattended child walking on the highway.
Where are
Police
the
assured Mitch
parents?
that they'd send out patrol units immediately. An hour later, Mitch called again for a follow-up, as well as to offer the footage he had caught on his dashcam. But he was told that it wouldn't be necessary, as the child had been collected safely and was on its way home.
Okay, nice.
However, strangely, police would later state that no child was found, despite officers searching the area until 3:45 a.m. Additionally, they would claim that at no point did they tell Mitch that they had found the child. The next morning, multiple volunteers commenced a search of the area, but no child was ever found, and therefore the search eventually ended.
Of course.
At the time the footage was captured, there were no reports of a missing child in the area. It remains unknown who exactly was captured in this video.
Interesting. Maybe it's a mannequin or something.
Footage was captured in the streets of Taiwan. Right away, it's clear the video takes place in the midst of a storm where the winds are strong enough to throw around debris. At one point,
Tornado,
debris is even seen flying against the windshield. But little did the drivers know that an actual tornado was forming right behind them and quickly heading in their direction.
Yeah. This is scary. Oh, hell no.
The dashcam footage captures the exact moment the tornado went directly through them. It was even strong enough to lift vehicles off the ground, which can actually be seen with the white van that pulls out onto the road. The wheels of the vehicle hit the ground, and it begins to get full-on dragged by the tornado, seemingly disappearing. But once the tornado passes, it can be seen much further down the road, wedged in between two trees. More concerning, however, is the person that gets thrown by the tornado on the right side of the road. Unfortunately, this woman would suffer major injuries and would be taken to the hospital.
Okay.
The storm would go on to produce further damage.
I can see that, bro.
Cause multiple deadly landslides.
Okay.
This video was taken in Russia. It shows the dashcam footage of a man driving down a desolate and long stretch of dirt road. Then, up ahead is a car parked in such a way so as to block traffic. Two men with baseball bats begin walking up to the driver, and that's when it becomes clear that this is a robbery, and the parked car was an intentional makeshift roadblock. The driver tries to escape, but the two men get in the way and do their best to prevent it. Fortunately, the driver had a window of opportunity and took advantage. He slammed on the gas and was able to get away unscathed. He then drove around the roadblock and was free. It's unknown if the two men with baseball bats were ever caught. In late November of 2015, a large catastrophic bushfire broke out in South Australia, This dashcam footage was captured by one of the fire trucks responding to the incident. Right from the start of the video, enormous smoke clouds are shown, depicting just how large the fire had gotten. As the trucks continue forward, visibility gradually worsens. It gets so bad to where the fire trucks are forced to stop. Then, in the distance, the fire itself can be seen, spreading towards them unnervingly fast.
Here it comes, the hitch coming. Nick's over here. Can't even get it. We're going to go in a burn over very, very quickly now. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes.
Burn off my hand.
Burn over, Scotty, burn over. Burn over, Scotty.
Burn over is destroyed, badly damaged by fire. Row of our burn house. Cam loss on depletion there.
A miscommunication between the two trucks resulted in a
Can I
collision.
show this?
The truck in the front was attempting to back up out of the fire, while the truck with the dashcam was entering what's known as a burnover. A burnover is a fire truck protection protocol where the truck stays in place and the crew deploys Velcro blankets to protect themselves from the heat. Water is sprayed outside of the vehicle to keep it from catching on fire, and in the inside, breathing masks are used by the crew. During this protocol, however, the crew from the truck in the front can be heard desperately explaining how they didn't have water for a burnover, or rather their truck's sprinkler system wasn't working properly.
Mayday. Damn. I should check the equipment for coming or something.
They couldn't stay in place and were forced to drive forward in the hopes of escaping the fire, which you can actually see in the video as the truck fades into the distance. Fortunately,
Is it
this
gone?
move would end up saving their lives.
Oh, okay.
They would make it to the other side of the fire, and everyone inside the truck, as well as the one with the dash cam, would make it out with minimal injuries.
That is nice. Excellent happy ending.
This footage was captured way back in 2012. It takes place near an airport in Moscow, Russia. The airport is right next to a highway, and on December 29th, this dashcam footage would capture the disturbing moments a plane missed the runway and crash-landed just on the right side of the highway.
Yes. What's the actual chance is happening?
It turns out the plane had mistakenly overshot the runway because of bad weather conditions, so when it landed it didn't have enough room to brake. This left it no choice but to go directly into the highway, causing plane seats and other debris to shoot towards passing vehicles, all of which can be clearly seen in the footage. At the time of the crash, the plane was only carrying crew members. No passengers were on board. But unfortunately, 5 of the 8 total crew members would lose their lives. The driver of the vehicle with the dash cam.
Yeah, there's no way they survive. Okay. It's the last one that was kind of disappointing. Thankfully, there are no passengers in the computer hospital.